Ajusta Tu Corona was a dream of mine since I was very young. I didn't bring it to fruition until I was much older. And basically what it is we all have a story to tell. And a lot of people were not aware of my story, of their stories, and they were a little bit shocked to find out what our humble beginnings were and how we became so successful. So never underestimate the power of your story. It is inspirational, it is motivational, it can save someone's life. My message to all the women out there and to everyone out there who may be facing adversity, never forget how amazing you are. Never forget how exceptional you are. Ajusta tu corona and keep it moving.
Good evening and welcome to Conversations with Ajusta Tu Corona. I am your host, Lilian Maldonado, this evening, and I have a very special guest for you. All of my guests are special, but I just think that this young lady has done amazing things. She's, for her age, to me, she has done a lot. So she's been through a lot and she is now thriving, and I can't wait to bring her on. Do not forget to follow, like, and subscribe. Comment with us. Send your messages. If you have any questions, interact with us. All of this helps our algorithm grow. Remember, we are here to help and to serve women and also men of adversity, because this program is for everyone to listen to. And we focus on domestic violence. Why? Because I was once a victim of domestic violence. So I am going to bring on our guest for this evening. It is the lovely Miss Leydy Jaramaillo, who happens to be a multi-business owner and just a beautiful girl all around. Everyone, welcome, Leydy. Hi, Leydy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm excited to have you. We have a couple of people on that have already said hello, and one of them is Richard, and one of them is Milagros. Faithful fans. They are on every week, and they, trust me, they are not shy. They will definitely speak their minds and give any questions, that people may have. Someone is saying, Casey's on. Welcome, Casey. And then we have someone that says, hello, ladies, but it just says Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming to the show. So this evening, we're going to talk about thriving. And the reason is that most of the time, when I focus on the stories that the people come on and tell their story, they focus on the abuse that they went through, how they felt. And we don't want to do that all the time. We want whoever if you need to share your story, we are here to listen. Trust me, we do not turn anyone away. You have something that you want to say, you have something that you want to teach, you have something that is weighing heavy on you and you want to get it off and you want to talk about it on Ajusta Tu Corona, because we're a tribe here. We're all about helping each other and making sure that you're okay. We need that person that tells us you're okay. It's Sharissa. Sharissa's the one that's like, hello, ladies. Sharissa was a guest prior. So, Leydy, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us your background, where you're from, and things of that sort.
So I'm Leydy, guys. Like Lillian said, I'm from New Haven originally. Right now, I live in West Haven in my home that I purchased in January.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Sharissa and Mike are actually a part of that journey. Thank you, Sharissa. And yeah, I have a cleaning business right now. I've been going strong for about 3 years. I started Airbnb with my business partners, Anna and Wale, in this past February. And I'm also a marketing associate for We Out and About, which is an amazing, amazing travel company.
That's awesome. Now, your cleaning company, is it business? Is it residential? And what made you decide to do that?
So I do residential and commercial and Airbnb, but my main focus is commercial right now.
Okay.
And it started with my mom. She's been a cleaner her whole life. So she actually was the one that taught me how to do everything. And one day we just came together and we're like, why don't we do this? You know, my mom is someone that has worked multiple jobs her whole life. And if you know me, I have worked so many jobs too, because of course I take after my parents. But
Mm-hmm.
I no longer work all these jobs. I am a full-time entrepreneur. And she actually just walked away from a job about a month ago. So I'm very proud of her.
You mean she retired? Like she's done?
With one job. She still has
Okay.
one other job and we clean. So I'm
Yeah.
working on the other job.
Okay. That's wonderful. So, Lady, you have viewed our show previously and you shared some information with us as far as understanding our platform, wanting to be a part of it, understanding the message that we're trying to get out there to other women, to other victims, and to other survivors. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, what it is that you had shared with me?
Um so the last spoke, I was telling you that whew, growing up, I was sexually abused by two family members. Um and I always thought it was going to be something that I would keep to myself forever until I I was in my first relationship and it was a little toxic. It was a little toxic. And then, you know, it was just so much for me. Like the person was someone that cheated on me multiple times. And there was just a time where I had to confess to my mom. Like I said, I'm never going to tell her. I'm going to take this to the grave. And the moment I told her, it was such a relief to finally tell her. I believe I was 16 when I finally said, you know what, I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her, and this is what it's going to be. And then, you know, she shared her story with me. She was actually a victim herself by somebody that is, yeah, they're in her family. And I felt really good. It felt really good to let that out and just talk about it. Sometimes we feel like we have to hold it in and not tell anybody and just smile. And it's like, no, you really need to speak it out so you can heal. And once I spoke about that, I just healed.
Would you mind if I asked you some questions about that? Such
Yeah.
as, you said it was a family member. Did they at any time threaten you or tell you, don't you dare say anything?
It wasn't a threat. Everything was calm. You know, when they would speak to me, they'd be like, "Oh, just don't say anything." And I just felt like I had to keep my mouth shut. I felt like if I say anything, maybe something bad will happen. You know, I come from a background of immigration. So I always knew like, okay, like the police can come, maybe my family will get sent back. So I always felt like, okay, if I'm quiet, nothing will happen. It won't be my fault. If I say something, then you know it's gonna be my fault, and then I'm gonna feel guilty. So I was little too, so I didn't know any better.
It's normal for our minds to shut down and hold on to that. What do you think it was that made you decide to share with your mom at the age of 16?
Um, I was going through the breakup at the time, and I actually had skipped school that day. With my boyfriend at the time, and the guy that actually harmed me, he was home. I did not know he was home, and he was the one that called my mom. And I was just so angry. I was just so angry, and I'm just like, the nerve of you, you know, the nerve of you. So he called my mom. My mom came home, and I just started crying, and I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Like, how dare he? So I'm actually glad he called her, because if he didn't, I probably would have never said anything, and I probably would have kept it to myself.
Was it just when you were young or did it continue? Because I didn't know that he was still around you.
Yeah, we were all still around each other. We actually, like, the way I grew up, we all lived together. You know, my mom always wanted to move out, but my dad at the time, he was like, no, no, let's keep saving, let's keep saving. Till we eventually moved out. No, that probably stopped when I was maybe maybe like in the 4th grade. Because once I was like in middle school, like I was like, all right, no more. I was old enough to be like, okay, no more. And I still never said anything. But I was going into my teenage years. I was going out more. I was hanging out with people more. I was out of the house. I wasn't in the house anymore because my parents worked so much. I was always home and I was always taking care of my younger sister. So I had to be that third parent.
Mm, mm. It's really sad. We have some comments from people that say, "You're so strong, lady," Sharisa.
Love you.
So, when you did tell your mother, was she open about it? Was she accused? Did she accuse? Did she immediately believe you? How did that go for you?
She immediately believed me and she actually sat down and cried with me. She was just like, listen, this happened to me too. And I just don't know why she never shared that before. It's like it had to happen for her to say something. So I don't blame her because I had to learn that, they were children at one point. They were young at one point, and she at this point she's still like dealing with her own healing, her own things. We'll talk about it, and I just let her talk, because I don't want to be. She's in her 50s, and I don't want to be 50 with kids, and I'm still holding on to all this. I just want to let it out and be healed. So she,
Mm.
because it happened to her. She said that she actually never told her mom because she knew her mom would never believe her.
Oh, that's so sad. That's one of the things that women have to learn, that when your child comes to you with something, take it to heart. And sometimes it's just so unbelievable. You don't think that the other person is actually capable of doing something like that. But don't doubt your children. Definitely like take them somewhere, someone that has the specialty of actually interviewing a child to see if they have actually been abused. It is so important for them to have their parents support, because if you go confess something to your parent and they're not accepting of it and they're calling you the liar, they're already they've already they're already damaged from what was done to them.
Yeah.
And then to have the person that they love, that is supposed to be caring for them, not believe them, is just even worse. How I know that you said that you wanted to be rid of it, you wanted to be rid of the pain. So once you told your mother that, do you feel that that was the beginning of your healing, or are you telling me that you thought you were healed after that?
Um, that was the beginning of my healing, definitely, because a little bit before I actually confessed, my dad had gotten deported. So I was dealing with like a lot of mixed emotions, finally understanding what happened to me, that it was not okay. My dad being deported, which was one of my biggest fears. It happened. So that was definitely the beginning.
Yeah, that's a lot of trauma in one shot. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, as far as your toxic relationship is concerned, was he ever, I know you said he was toxic verbally, abusive, mentally, physically?
The first relationship, it was mentally. I was still young, and I considered that my first love. I let that go. Once I got into my second relationship, he was great at first, but what his mother did warn me was that his father was somebody that used to hit her, and she was with him for about 14 years. So she finally decided to leave, and she was like, he has some triggers, just like letting me know. She was a very sweet woman, and I'm just like, okay, like, I'm a fighter. I hit back. If anything happens, it's fine, because growing up, I was my mom and my father. My dad would never hit my mom, but my mom was more of the abuser. So I would see that.
We have a show for that too.
So when we actually, would go at it, and he would put his hands on me and I would put my hands on him, and then we would fix things, it's like it was okay because I grew up seeing that. You see the mess, you work it out, you fix it, and it's fine. But then it just kept on going. And I'm like, okay, I know this is my second relationship, but I don't think this is how relationships work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But because I grew up seeing something so toxic that I thought was okay, I thought that was okay for me. And I thought that was going to be my forever. And thank God I let go of that relationship because that is not my forever.
Wow. And that one ended when?
That ended about like 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago.
Oh, so you were already older. I thought this is the one that ended when you were 16. So tell me what steps have you taken for your healing?
So I definitely started going back to church. Um, when I went, I believe it was last year, I go to a church in Bridgeport, Triumphant Christian Church, and I just felt happy. And one day the pastor just asked everybody to go up, you know, and I go up, and she just had a few words for me, and she was just like, if you never learn how to forgive and how to just let go of all that hurt, your doors will never open. And I gave her a hug and I started crying, and I'm just like, okay, I know what I need to forgive. So I ended up forgiving, the two people that harmed me. I ended up forgiving my mother because after like my dad was deported, it's like for some reason I had like a resentment towards her.
Mm.
And our relationship was always rocky. We would go back and forth, back and forth. And there were points when I was just leaving the house and I would not come back. I'm like, I'm not showing up. It's bad. And that's when I decided to be like, okay, I'm gonna heal and I'm gonna forgive everybody, which I thought I did beforehand, but I actually never did. I just kind of like put it under the rug and said, okay, yeah, everybody's forgiven. But that's not how it works. You actually gotta let it go. You actually gotta talk about it. So that's stuff that I've been working on. And me and my mom, we've been working on our relationship. We're actually better. And now that she quit her job, it's actually way better. We have the opportunity to talk. We have the opportunity to do simple things like have breakfast and just have that conversation because she's still healing herself too from
Hmm.
these been through. So I'm just like, wow, this is really amazing. I always thought I was just gonna have to take this to the grave and just deal with toxic relationships. And I'm glad that I really don't. Like now it's like, no, my self-love comes first and I know what I want. And there's just certain things that I don't want anymore.
That's wonderful. There is such a thing called trauma bond, and I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the same reason, it was just on my show last week. It's the same reason why people that are abused keep going back to their abuser, or they get that feeling. So I don't know if that's where you are right now, but you are in the process of healing, which is absolutely wonderful. And you hit it right on the nose by saying you have to learn to love yourself first. My thing is, what do you do to love yourself?
So I go to church. I invest in my learning because I like to learn. I really do. That's fun. I go to the gym. I love to eat. I'm always cooking too. It's just those little things, self care. Go to the spa, get my toes done. I can't do really my hands because I'm a cleaner, so those break off. But it's just things like that, things that make me happy, even if it's alone time. I love my alone time. I may seem like a social butterfly, and I love people, but I love my alone time too. Like that.
Are you happy?
Yes.
That's wonderful. What One of the things also that I have learned is that trauma stays with you through the womb and through the umbilical cord for 3 generations. So if your grandmother suffered, your mother suffered, and you were already born to suffer in the womb. So we have to have that pattern of we have to heal so we do not pass that on to our children. So you mentioned that before, and you were exactly correct. You need to heal so that you do not continue that generational trauma. So I loved when you said that. I see that you work out 5 to 6 times a week. I've actually watched you like work out. I can't even like walk from here to the mailbox without being out of breath. So I applaud you for that. What would you say to someone that is suffering from it currently or has suffered from it?
To seek help. Even if your parents don't believe you, it's okay to go out and maybe speak to a friend that you trust. But it has to be someone that you really trust. Like me, I don't really go around just telling my business to anyone.
Mhm.
There actually has to be someone that I trust. And it was my sister at the time before, like, I could really find anybody where I could really speak to. And she was like, oh my goodness. Or even find a therapist. There are people out there that really care. It doesn't necessarily always have to be family that listens to you, but seek that help, because it's at one point when I thought I could keep it to myself, I actually wanted to commit suicide.
Mm,
And I'm glad I never did. Something was nudging me like, no, no, you have a purpose. You have a purpose. Seek the
it's
help.
really sad. I'm so happy that you are a thriving survivor. I applaud you for that. Now, I found my healing after many, many, many years. Actually, by traveling. And I know that you happen to be involved in something that has to do with travel. Tell us a little bit about that.
The travel that I'm doing now. Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, the company is called We Out and About, and what we do is we curate trips for people. And it could be for 4 to 5 days, a month. You give us your budget, and we do our very, very best to give you the vacation that you want. So
That's
it's
amazing.
easy. We've been to Aruba, we've been to DR, we've been to Dubai, we're going to Morocco soon. So it's going really, really well.
Morocco's on my list.
Yes.
I would love to go to Morocco, but I am also going to Dubai in a couple of weeks for my birthday. I tend to take a big trip every birthday. The pandemic had me on hold. We have some comments here. Casey, you're so amazing, lady. Love you, girl. Uh, oh, thank you, ladies, for coming and joining us and supporting Lady as she spills her heart out to us today. When you see this person today, have you really forgiven them or do you still feel the rage?
I have, because that person has actually sat in my house at family gatherings, and I can actually have a conversation. So it's not someone that I'm gonna call on a daily basis, like, "Hey, come over." But it's like, there is a God, and karma is real, and I've seen how God has just dragged that person. you know? So I'm just like, I wish you the very best. If I can help, I will help, because I will always have a kind heart. So yeah, I really have forgiven that person. Before it would be like, I don't even want to talk to that person, but now I can actually sit down and be like, all right, we don't got to talk about what happened, because clearly neither of us want to talk about it to each other. But we can talk about, just other things if you happen to be in my house. But it's very so often that person's actually here.
Did he ever apologize?
No, neither of them did. And these are people that my mom has always extended her hand. So I told her, I'm like, you can always be kind. Just be careful who you give your hand to, because not everyone deserves it.
Absolutely. And you could see that you didn't allow this. You did seek your mom out and you started going to church. So you did start to heal, and that's all wonderful. Tell me about your cooking. Is it something that you do? Like, do you cater? Do you go ahead?
So, because we are busy cleaners, my mom and I actually do it together. So, when we have the time, we actually make food like ceviche, tamales. I don't know if you've seen it on my story, but there are times where I do promote it, and we're right now just working on a strategy on how it could be, how we can do it more, and eventually my dream is to have a restaurant. So that's something that I'm working towards as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. Good music.
I'm an R&B girl. R&B girl. Yes, I'm Spanish, but I love good R&B. And my sister will tell me all the time, just switch to music, girl. We're going to the gym. And I'm like, but I like this. They do not let me be the DJ in the car because
You know what you like. And I understand that. Like, I know what I like when I'm in the car, and the kids were like, no, mom, you got to change that. Enough of that already. I'm like, but this is what I
I take the car everywhere.
like. So you don't have to deal with that. That's amazing. Lady, I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
Um, it's not many people that can sit here and tell their story and feel healed and thriving and actually be happy, which is the main reason that I asked you that question. It took me many, many years, lots of healing, lots of coaching, lots of therapy. So it is not an easy thing. And oh, somebody just wrote that. Oh, Richard just wrote that he loves listening to the Beach Boys in his car.
Yes.
That is not R&B. Oh, you are being applauded by Sharisa. Oh, and I wanted to bring to everyone's attention that we are having our gala this year. October 22nd, 2022 is the Ajusta Tu Corona Gala. It is a fundraiser. We are raising money for Help Now of Osceola, which is domestic violence shelter and education. So your money is going to an organization that is going to help people like me, that have helped people like Lady, and so many victims of abuse. And I try not to get political on this show, and I try not to talk about things that I see on the news because I'm constantly told not to watch regular news. But just a few days ago, a mother of 6 was murdered in her car in Philadelphia by the children's father. So these children are now practically orphans. He's going to jail for life, and the 6 little girls have no mother. And I am dumbfounded that as much organizations as we have, as much help that is out there, the laws have changed a little bit, not enough as far as I'm concerned. I said for people that tend to get protective orders, they just don't seem to be protecting the victims. This story broke my heart. What Lady just shared with us for the first time broke my heart. No child, no woman should be suffering any type of abuse, emotional, mental, physical, none. So this show is to keep us going, to keep bringing people on board, to tell us their stories of survival, and to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That they're not, that they may not see their way out right now. They may be in that dark place, but we want to show them as a tribe, Adjust Your Crown, that it is possible. That it is possible to heal, that it is possible to move on, that it is possible to actually be happy. So that is the basis of Ajusta Tu Corona. Lady, is there anything else that you would like to share about yourself to the audience?
Um, I think we got it all covered for right now.
That's amazing.
Fun facts about me.
And I'm so happy that you and your mom are getting along and that your mother was open and shared her experience with you. And I really, truly pray for both of you and more for your mom to continue her healing, because to be in that situation, especially in our demographic, is just overlooked sometimes and not really discussed, or the accuser, the abuser is not brought to justice. When you finally did share with your mom, did you guys ever feel like you wanted to call the police? Or at the time that you shared with him, with your mom, was there still an immigration issue?
Till this day, there's still an immigration issue. At the moment, I never really thought about it. Honestly, I
You,
ne- I think it was more so like I just want to say something, and I had to say something because it was a lot. You know, my dad got deported. I was going through those emotions. I was becoming a teenager, and I was going through a lot. And it's like I just wanted to speak before I did something to myself. You know. So once that happened with that situation, and my mom came home, I was just like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? You either believe me or you don't. And she did.
on my show last week, a couple weeks ago, I was actually interviewed on another program called Straight Talk No Sugar Added. And on that show, we talked about the different types of abuse. And a type of abuse is called immigration abuse. And you suffered that as well. So you suffered sexual abuse, you suffered immigration abuse, which, had you reported it, would probably have allowed you to have a green card and stay in the country, because you were a victim of you were a victim of a crime. You
Oh
were,
no, I don't have the immigration.
no, but I'm saying your mom.
Oh, her. Oh,
Oh, I don't know if that is her situation. I am just
oh,
saying.
oh. I'm like, wait.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying, I don't know what the immigration issue is. I'm just saying that it is illegal to threaten people with immigration when they do something, when the abuser, when you are the victim of abuse, you have rights. It doesn't matter what country you're from, what nationality you are, or what your immigration status is. Everyone has rights. So I just wanted to make that clear, um, to you and our viewers. So for now, I would like to, as always, share my message, which is never forget how amazing you are. Never forget how much you are loved. Never forget how exceptional you are. Ajusta tu corona and keep it moving. Would you like to leave a message for our audience?
um, Always put yourself first and don't be afraid to speak up.
That is one of the symbols of domestic violence, is always have the courage to speak. It may not be easy, but as I stated before, there are hundreds, thousands of women out there who are willing to help someone in need. Just ask, knock on my door, order your pizza, as so many have done on 911. Remember how valuable you are, and you are so needed in this world. If you found any value in this show, please like, subscribe, share. Please go to our website, ajustatucorona.com, subscribe, check out the fundraiser. It doesn't cost you anything to look at the website and sign up for the website. It just allows us to continue to grow. Thank you so much for being here with us, Lady. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I'm super proud of you. And I wish you all the best in all your endeavors.
Thank
Have
you.
a great night.
You too.